late May at about 12,000 feet. Well, it's a spectacular spring day down here in the meadows. They're turning green. Elk are beginning to gather, getting ready to give birth. The aspen leaves are beginning to come out. I see flowers blooming around me. It really is idyllic. But just a little ways above, up in the mountains, it's an entirely different story. It's hard to believe, but even here in late May, winter still prevails in the high country of Rocky Mountain National Park. Well, today I'm going to take you up to the top of Hallett Peak, up to 12,700 feet above sea level. And I think that's going to give you a really good feel for how much the weather can vary from one elevation in the park to another. In fact, it's a completely different world up there. Well, our trail begins at Bear Lake, so let's head over there, park the car, and start hiking up. When I arrived at Bear Lake, park staff were busy taking down some very large dead trees that had become a safety hazard. The trail around Bear Lake was a mixture of snow, ice, and dry sections of trail. As I turned onto the Fern Lake Trail, the snow vanished since it's on a south-facing slope, and for the next half mile, I enjoyed a dry trail. But up at the top, the snow started, and it was time to put on my microspikes. Well, as you can see, we've arrived at the Dream Lake Overlook. Dream Lake is just down here. And it was actually fairly warm on the hike up in the trees. And as I got going and started to exercise, took off my jacket and hat and gloves. But if I stop for long, I'll need to put them back on. I was just thinking on my hike up, it was 33 years ago this week that my wife and I got married. And we ended up getting married in Minnesota, had a wonderful wedding ceremony, beautiful temperatures, green grass, flowers. It was really fabulous. And then we borrowed a friend's trailer and we went to Yellowstone National Park. And when we arrived, there was snow everywhere. And there we were in t-shirts and shorts, expecting summer-like conditions. So don't make the same mistake that we did. Prepare for winter conditions when visiting Rocky Mountain National Park during the month of May and early June. But it's gorgeous, don't miss out. Well, as you can see, we've arrived at Tree Line. This is my favorite area of all of Rocky Mountain National Park, anywhere at Tree Line. And right now, the weather's gorgeous. It's turned out to be a beautiful day up here. If you look behind me, you can see Long's Peak, and all around me, beautiful views. That's why I love Tree Line. It's right at the edge of transition. All right, onward we go. Shortly after leaving Emerald Lake Overlook, the winds began to howl, and the higher I got, the more intense they were. It wasn't until I actually returned back to Emerald Lake Overlook that I finally found some relief. It's a full-on blizzard up here. It's a wonderful day and the month of May. Welcome to Lake May Mountain National Park at 12,700 feet. The winds are howling at least 50 miles an hour. I can stay up here. The winds on top of Hallett Peak were far more intense than they appeared in the video. I could barely stay on my feet and realized it just wasn't safe to linger. And so I made a quick descent back down to where the winds were less extreme. And from there, enjoyed a really peaceful hike back to the world of color and warmth. Now, just to be clear, this is not a hike that I recommend doing in these conditions. At the summit, the winds were on the edge of becoming truly dangerous. In fact, the winds in the high country can get so extreme that they can sometimes pick up a person and throw them like a rag doll. And the temperatures can be frigid as well. While I was up there, the temperatures were so cold that I was beginning to lose feeling in my fingers despite wearing heavy winter mittens. Now, if you plan to do this hike, I recommend that you choose much more friendly weather. Check the forecast clearly before you go and bring everything you need to be fully prepared for any unexpected changes in the weather. Now, you might be wondering why in the world I did this crazy hike in such extreme weather. Well, my goal was to give you a first-hand look at how much the weather can vary from the lower elevations of the park to the higher elevations of the park during May and June. My hope is that you come with more realistic expectations and the right gear to have a wonderful and safe trip here in Rocky Mountain National Park. Well, I really hope you learned something today, or at least that you enjoyed the journey. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see all of you in the next video. To help you prepare for your visit to Rocky Mountain National Park, visit my website, rockymountainnationalpark.com. For hiking guides, calendars, coffee table books, and more, visit rockytrailpress.com. And when you arrive, be sure and stop by my gallery in downtown Estes Park. It's called Images of RMNP.